Welcome back to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. Today I'm going to show you some more stuff on the library shelves. I wanted to take you through some of my favorite resources for vocabulary and handwriting. So somebody watched one of my previous videos. Sometimes I'm surprised when I look back at videos like in the last year, how I've already updated my homeschool. I'm always refining or switching things or just trying to, you're always you always are finding ways that you prefer more or resources that you think are a little bit better or whatever. But somebody was asking me about teaching cursive. So I thought I would just kind of give an updated kind of talk about that while I showed you some of the resources I have here in the homeschool library. One of the very, very, very first things you do with your little kids is you give them flashcards, right? You drill them with their flashcards. And Bo and I did these ones all last year. It's a set. It has capital and lowercase. But I made these myself. I'll link them for you down below. But I just wanted to get resources that were, I wanted a more consistent handwriting font. So I started right with the flashcards for their, and while I was teaching him his ABCs and all the phonemes that go with each phonogram. And he starts, practicing, forming those letters. We always started with play foam, making the letters out of play foam first, or Play-Doh or something. And then writing them came kind of later. But the sounds were more important to me first, and just recognizing them visually. So we've got these down pretty well, playing memory with matching an uppercase and a lowercase card. Yeah, he really loved that game. He actually never got tired of it. The next step is I started, having him, I don't know where I put it. I have another version of this called the alphabet, but in the same font in the print. And so he started moving on to, in preschool, working on these printable workbooks that I make. I'll link it for you too. And it has a picture you can draw with it, and you just have lines to practice. And he didn't do it took us pretty much all of preschool to get through it. We were just very slow and gentle. But things went, he picked up things faster than I actually anticipated, so it was a nice surprise. So once the print stuff was getting down, I started introducing this set of flashcards, the cursive set. So again, I wanted it to be the same font that I'm going to be teaching him to write in, that I'm going to be using for his model copy work. So I started introducing these upper and lowercase and playing matching games with this font. Okay, well, find me all the cards that say A, Ah. And then he'd have to find both of these, right? And you don't do all 26 letters at the same time. You just slowly, obviously, add in. But we came up with all types of games that we played with that. And then actually, to prepare him for reading, I actually added in this type font too. So at 4 years old, he maybe he was 5 by the time he mastered them. But he could match typeface, Danielian print, and Danielian cursive. He could recognize them all by sight. And he was practicing writing his print letters by then. I haven't had him do this one yet because I just don't know that I'm that concerned about starting. I know some people wanted to, I really mostly made it because some people want to start cursive right from the beginning, and that's recommended by a lot of handwriting expert people. And then a lot of people say it doesn't matter. So I I'll get to it. I'll tell you when I personally have added it in. But this was designed for those that are starting straight off the bat. Because we use the McGuffey readers, the McGuffey readers have cursive built into them. I'll show you. So I have the Eclectic Revised primer, and like here's lesson 30. You can see how it's just typeface, and then there's script sections, and they get longer as the book goes on and as the books go on. Let's see if I can find another one. See, it's getting a little bit longer. So they've seen these, but they're not an exact match for this exact script. So, you know, I just help them with it. I just tell them what it is. I just say, yeah, like their P's are kind of weird. Like they don't close their P's. They're small P's. They kind of look like H's. But for the most part, they can tell what it is. You know, their B's, they're lowercase B's. They don't close as tightly. They leave them more open. But they can figure it out. It's good for their brain. It's kind of like a little riddle or puzzle to figure out. They can always look at something like this too to help them. But the McGuffies themselves will have in the back their own script alphabet. Anyway, so they're reading it right away. They're going to have to learn to read it, but they just have little bites at a time, right? So since I base our early writing is all about copywork, I'll show you what that looks like. Here is the primer copywork I start them on. There is a printable version of this. This is just the Amazon version because it's the one I have that isn't written in yet. But, so it has the print, right, style I want, but wherever there was script, I left it in. I just put it into Denilian cursive. And so it starts, it's just such a little amount, right? It's like one sentence. So we just start there. We just start with like one sentence. And then, or whatever it is, so like this. Right? So, and you don't have to have them do like all three. I mean, you could do one sentence at a time. And I mean, they're really young. When they're in the primers, they're just starting, so you can go slow. Like I usually have them, trace first. And then we move on to trace and write, you know. At the end, there is a handwriting exercise page. That's the script, or, you know, the Denilian cursive. Actually, there's several pages of it. I guess I forgot how much I put in there. No one's used this. I haven't used this one in a couple of years. But I'm going to use it with Bo soon, so. Great, so they have seen stuff. By the time they get to the end of the book, they'll have a bunch of exercise pages. Work out their little hands. And then they have some in print too. All right. I just don't do anything special. I just go along with the as cursive comes up in the copywork for us for the print. There is like I do make cursive, like fully cursive versions of all the copywork. I have the complete copywork through the third reader now. I just finished the third reader copywork in cursive a day or two ago. So I'm so happy to have that done with because I was like putting it off finishing that for a long time. So the whole thing is in cursive. Okay, so I mean, and you could also have them do, I mean, you could have your kid do, you know, print and then do this one, especially if you're a year-round homeschooler and you have a lot of extra time on your hands. Like, you can just do so much more with their education. On a side note, so much more with their education with so much less stress about finishing things at certain times and stuff when you're a year-round homeschooler. So I love doing it year-round. So that just continues on and on. I was going to show you, actually I thought I would show you because we're on copywork and handwriting. So this is, again, I have a printable version of this. This is just the Amazon version of the third reader's copywork. This is the print. I was just going to show you how like the sizing changes. So with each one of my copyworks that I made, so I've got the primer, the first reader, second reader, and third reader. The font is getting progressively smaller. So you start out, larger, obviously, and you end up here. See what I mean? Because as they're getting better, as they're getting more coordinated, they're getting better at their pencil holes and all that stuff. Like they're getting tighter and tighter with their writing, getting ready to write on, college ruled size paper. Since we're like looking at copy work, I thought I would just show you the third reader, the cursive version. This is the Etsy version, the printables. I'm still waiting. Amazon has to approve my last one, but hopefully that will be sometime this week. So then this one's just all in cursive. And I'll show you how the font has changed. And I also start grouping things into more paragraph form. And just because the McGuffies are not, if you've noticed in the readers, they're kind of organized line by line. And so there's, I think that's just so they can say exactly which lines to have them copy and stuff. But that's not how you would write. Like you wouldn't have just one sentence, one long sentence even, pulled out as like a whole paragraph, like you group sentences together. So I did take some liberty and like did a little bit of reformatting to get to where they're writing in a more normal, long form, and not just like one line at a time. Do you know what I mean? Okay, anyways, see, and these ones, the print versions, I still kept the cursive in. So you can tell we do a lot of copy work. I do grammar exercises with the copy work. I think I might have talked about that last time. Did I talk about the grammar exercises we do, or did I just show books? I'll have to check what I've already uploaded so I don't repeat myself. And if I haven't talked about what we do for grammar in as much detail as I'd like to show you, I'll make another video. Okay, so if I had an older student, which I did, who transferred into homeschool from public school, where they had not taught him any cursive, I made this. Again, there is a printable version. This is just the Amazon version because, like I said, it was the clean version. But this is based off of Shortcut to Cursive. But I just kind of made it my own, and I made it my own format. But I liked the progression that program uses. So I made my workbook based off of that progression, but in Danielian cursive. I don't know if you can see. So there's 3 lines of tracing, and they get progressively lighter, and then there's one that's totally freehand at the bottom. And you just add on, you start out with a new letter, and then it just makes you practice like every kind of connection that there is. And then you get to, like, you practice some names all in cursive. It was really exciting. Wasn't it exciting when you're a kid and you learn to write your name in cursive? Some panagrams at the end. So this is what I have. My oldest son is actually doing this right now. I think it's totally okay to do both. Something more simple like this, and then follow up with this too. Yeah, this is definitely geared towards a little bit older child, or even like an adult or teenager could use this. And this is geared a little bit more towards the younger kids, just it's extra big and asks them to draw pictures and stuff. So a lot of handwriting. I think I have it all in like cursive, talk, and stuff like that. Let's take a look at vocabulary. Okay, so I know the Robinson curriculum, which is the base of our education, comes with its own vocabulary program. I just have other preferences for vocabulary, so this is what they are. So again, I have kind of 2 different strategies I'm going to show you reflected in some of my choices here in the library, based on different needs at different times with different students. So like my oldest, he transferred over, like I said, what was it, 4th grade from public school. So he again had like no vocabulary at all, no spelling, no vocabulary. What has worked well for him, was these 2 books. I got Red Hot Root Words, book 1 and 2. And then because I just felt like I kind of use these like textbooks, and I have weekly packets that go with them so that they could get enough practice. Just because the exercises that were in the book, there just wasn't enough to get the job done. Yeah, they say like, I mean, what did I hear recently? Even just for like, I think new words, like kids have to interact with them like something like a minimum of 14 times before they like automatically read them. So you really need a lot of exposure to learn new words, or else it's kind of, you know, in one ear out the other. Anyway, so I have a week's worth of activities, and each list is just 5 words, but they all share something in common, like a base word, a prefix, or a suffix. I love this book. I'm keeping it, and that's nice too. If you use this kind of as a textbook and don't like, not just like as a consumable, and you use like some exercise to go with it, then you don't ever have to like rebuy it. You know, you just buy this once, you buy your printable once, and then you just reprint it for however many kids you have. Okay, and then it moves on to book 2, and the same thing, except it's 10 words. Again, I have a packet that goes with it. This is actually Everett's packet right now, 2. And when he is finished with that second book, my plan is to move him into the Worldly Wise program. So I have like book 7 for 7th grade. I have not used this yet. So he's going to be a 7th grader this upcoming fall. We'll start our 7th grade year. So I like that this program has passages that have the vocabulary words in them. Also, I like that. They're not too long. And these look to me like the word lists don't look like they're not like related, whereas these had the Latin roots, you know. These ones don't. So I wanted to make sure that he had that base before I moved into a more diverse word grouping. And I think I have the 8th grade one too. That's as far as I've bought. Okay, for my younger 2 that I've homeschooled the whole time. So William's gonna be a 3rd grader this upcoming year. So I don't bother with like vocabulary, you know. Obviously kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, we start spelling when it's time to start. But you know, spelling, so I have like my spelling program, like here's a level 3 that he's going to be doing this upcoming school year. But this shouldn't take all year, right? It's only 30 word lists, so if that's like 30 weeks or something, it could be longer. But I think whenever we finish this, I will start him into the word roots. So here's the beginning, and it says you can start in grades 3 to 4, learning the building blocks of better spelling and vocabulary, prefixes, roots, and suffixes. So same idea as the Latin red hot root words books. But there's more of these books, and so I was hoping just to have a slower start. So I think I'm going to start, this. And I've got this through level beginner, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd heard good things about this. I haven't used it yet, but I'm excited to try it out with William. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. There's more stuff on the shelf. I'll save it for next time. And happy homeschooling.